What's up YouTube, it's Geek here. We're going to be doing 100 days in Skyrim survival. Now to outline this while we're getting everything set up and designing our character, essentially this is how it's going to go. We need to survive 100 days in Skyrim whilst also achieving two major goals. One, we need a home base. I'm requiring that we have ourselves a home base. We cannot be a drifter. Drifter is not allowed. Bad. Two, we need to achieve a goal. I'm going to be doing Hero of the People, which means that we have to complete 50 missed quests, just random quests. Yeah, oh my god, none of these are speaking to me right now. Old man's kind of speaking to me. Kind of liking that. Yeah, we'll do old man. He's aged. He's a skinny, aged old man. A couple of other things about this is that we are not allowed to play on any mode besides legendary. So we're playing on the highest difficulty, and we're playing in survival mode, which means we have to worry about, I'm not messing with any of that, which means that we have to worry about food, hunger, sleep. We can't level up in the middle of a fight. Essentially the early game is going to be extra difficult. I feel like he's staring into my soul. We're playing on creation mode. We have a couple of different creations loaded. You'll probably notice right away, immediately, this one. We're playing on alternate start, and there's a reason for this. We can start in an area where we're not going to immediately die because there is a bunch of people waiting to kill us right outside. Your name is Craig. So alternate start, we're going to be put into this little area. There's nothing here, there's nothing for us to pick up. Just a cell. Not actually quite sure where. I have been
are you a patron of?
A fan of this very basic start where we let fate decide where we're starting. We have to be a patron, which means that we don't get much, and we start at any random tavern, which means that we could get lucky and end up in Whiterun right away. Or we could get unlucky and end up in Winterhold in survival mode. With another issue that I'll get into soon.
Even the lowest among us can rise to greatness.
So the biggest thing that is going to make this run difficult is I have a rule where you're only allowed to level 3 skills. One from the warrior tree. Constellation? Oh! Good start. Wonderful start. We ended up in Markarth. So we're only allowed to level 3, which is Conjuration, Alchemy, and Heavy Armor. Rather than just making it that I can only level these ones, I'm making it a bit more difficult and a bit more interesting, and that I'm only allowed to use things from these 3 skills. I'm using heavy armor. I'm not allowed to use one-handed, archery, light armor, two-handed, block, or smithing. I'm using conjuration. Enchanting is off the board, and so are all the other magic types besides conjuration. I am using alchemy. This is so I can have potions. Potions are really good in Skyrim. They're kind of the lifeblood of everything. But that means I can't steal from people, I can't pick locks, I can't sneak, and it also tragically means that I can't trade with people because that levels up your speech skill. This is useless. All of this is useless. Well, these aren't. They will keep me warm the moment I step outside. This is all useful. We need food, and this is useless. Oh, she's dead. Yes, we're entering survival mode.
What was that?
Hate to do this, but none of that is useful to me. This is crazy how long this is taking. Alright, so let's get Conjuration going. I chose a Breton so we could start with Conjure Familiar. I've tried this with other classes doing this same build. Did not work. Did the opposite of work. Was so pointless trying to find conjuration spells without being able to buy them that it was just not worth it. Kill him. Kill him. I want to loot him. Kill him. I want to loot him. Thank you.
Die for...
Gold is still useful even though we can't trade. The reason for this is that we want gloves. The reason for this is that we want to buy a house still. We are playing on Anniversary Edition. Another one of the mods I have shows all the roads. That's just because, holy crap. Playing this game without this mod after having it, not worth it. But Tundra Homestead, Mirrorwatch, and Hendrheim, wherever that one is, I think it's down here. It's somewhere around here. They're all off limits, as well as there's a cave up here that's off limits. And that's because they kind of just give them to you. And Anniversary Edition, you go in, you fight some weak people, and then they give them to you. Simple, straight to the point. That's not fun. It's not enjoyable to do that. There's no challenge to that. So I try...
Did you see what happened?
I was right there. He almost killed me.
Oh, I think you dropped this.
So
Some
I
kind of
like
note.
to work on... Actually, we will try to get a home here in Markarth. We're going to try to have Markarth be a home base for us. But we need to get started on some quests. And now another mod I have is this one. The notice board mod. This means that quests you would normally get from an innkeep or a tavern owner are put out here so you can read them, look into them, and actually do them. So like this is a common one I've seen. I've seen this one a lot. Non-enchanted armor set. I offer some lessons in heavy armor and shield blocking. Have you ever visited Left Hand Mind? Deliver a missive for Skyrim. Yeah, you know what? Deliver a missive. So we're going to... Nope. Do that. Turn off that one. Now we gotta go talk to this lady.
We'll handle things from here. Move along.
Down there. Man, why does it feel like this is so slow? Ugh,
I trust you're
the
not planning any
Warrens.
trouble. What can I do for you, friend?
I'm here to talk to someone. You're chilling.
Don't know anyone here who doesn't have rattles or ataxia. Of course.
Sounds like a redneck. I don't know anyone here who don't
Keep
have
your hands
rattles
to
or
yourself.
ataxia. I can't believe I just... Did that level up my sneak? No, it did not. Okay. So I'm going to say that because accidents happen, obviously we are allowed to get some experience towards skills we're not using. We can't apply any skill point to them whatsoever. And outside of like books that you find that you read and they level you up, if I am ever sneaking and suddenly I see that my sneak level has gone up, runs over. I failed. Alright. First true quest. Investigation. Speak to Rayrick. I'm looking for
Very
work.
well. You may approach the mournful throne. But watch your
Enigma's
words.
Excellent. It's all in this note.
City guard report.
Here.
We saw two citizens leaving their home a week ago from the location they were traveling in. They have most likely gone to Karspire. A problem with taking alchemy? A lot of its benefit comes from poisons, being able to dish out 100 damage or to paralyze someone or whatever. But because we can't use any weapons, we're not allowed one-handed or two-handed because we're taking armor instead, we cannot rely on poisons whatsoever. Poisons are useless. They're good for leveling up, but that's it. We could get a dog. A dog might be useful.
You need a reliable horse in the region.
A war dog is good company.
500
and good
gold.
protect.
I don't even have that much. Never mind. Yeah. So you know what? We're gonna go look for these two citizens. Oh God. I don't think we can do this. Help me. Help me. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You're a good guard, sir.
It's not. That's it? That's all you've got?
Thank you so much. That is free food and free ingredients. Good job, buddy. Another hope of this is that by doing this, I'm going to find new ways of playing this game. I feel like people tend to find a way they like playing Skyrim, and that's it. Skeever, 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 skeever. Diseases are bad. Diseases are bad. Get him, get him, get him. Get him, get him, get him. Yeah, good job. Whew. And a skeever tail. I don't want to eat that. That sounds like a bad idea. I want to talk to you about what this series is and what I want to come of this YouTube channel. It may come as a surprise, but I'm an amateur YouTuber. Of course, you're watching this sloppily edited YouTube video, but I've actually done all this before. Most of my old content is lost to the ages, save a couple YouTube videos, but I used to make Let's Plays and stream as a sort of hobby. And there's the kicker, it was only ever a hobby. I had no real direction or goal, I just enjoyed recording videos, editing them, and playing video games. But recently, I have found a kind of goal. You see, Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls is one of my favorite franchises. I've sunk years of my life into this fantasy world, ever since I was like 12. And it's YouTubers like the Spiffing Brit who do these 100 Days in Skyrim challenges that have really inspired me to make Skyrim related content. But I'm also a huge fan of Pokemon Nuzlockes. Finding unique and complex ways to master a game that you know forward and backward is nothing short of impressive. And you might be thinking to yourself, where's the connection here? And that's what I did at first too. But then I thought about it and I just thought, let's just smash them together. I want to find a set of rules, official Creation Club content, and achievements that can act as a sort of Nuzlocke within the constraints of a 100 Skyrim day challenge. And this is where you, the viewer, are going to come into play. As the series progresses, I hope we can, as a community, find what works and doesn't, what should and shouldn't be incorporated, and let others try these challenges as well. And hopefully, someday in the future, we will have official runs being performed with the design that we have all developed together. And now, with all that said, let's get back right into what Craig is doing, dealing with these forces. So I've committed a cardinal sin. I didn't fuck with the game, I fucked with the editing. And making a little short clip of me talking about the series and fast forwarding through some of the more boring grinding aspects of the game, I forgot to make a duplicate of my recording. And I lost a lot of the footage that I just could not recover, even going into files and like trying to find it. It was just gone. So updates on what has happened. I am level 4. I have sunk 2 of the skill points that I've earned into Conjuration Mastery. And I have sunk 1 of those skill points into Heavy Armor Mastery. Essentially, I've started building up on my defense, and I'm making sure that we have plenty of magicka and that our spells are not just going to randomly wear off in the middle of a fight. We're obviously in Riverwood. After dealing with the Forsworn, getting back to Markarth and upgrading my alchemy a little bit. Here, I'll even show you what I have in my inventory so that you may see what all we have going on. We've got full iron armor. I received some Thalmor gloves from the Shrine of Talos. That's way down that way. We got the treasure chest across the river here. We've gotten Feindal as a follower.
I've got your back.
I need to trade some things with
want me to
him because he is consistently favoring this iron mace over everything else, and I hate it. It's because it does more damage than his hunting bow. We need to get him a better bow, actually. I've been giving him all the potions that I don't want. You know, it might be nice one day to open them up and be like, what kind of potions you got in here, Feindal?
Let's get going then.
Let me think. What else have I done? It's been a bit. It's been a while since I've recorded. We're gonna actually, I want to get us back to Markarth so we can get closer to the quest that I wanted to do before. I'm still determined on setting up in Markarth. I just really wanted to get Feindal as a follower and get some of this early game loot that we could not get before. Not this room, this room.
We drink to our
Not this room.
Today's come and gone.
This room. We're gonna sleep until 6 in the morning. Craig is an old man. He gets up early. I want to talk about some issues that I'm running into with these challenges. And the biggest thing right now is that the early game is slow. And I imagine that, you know, when people do challenges like these, there's typically run enders. There's events that happen that are seen as like, this is a point where the run is over for most people. And it's a challenge to get past those run enders, but the rest of the game is fairly simple. And I think that's going to be a problem with this series no matter how we try to do it. Early game, you are surrounded by run enders. You are weak to the elements, you don't have gear. I've also killed these wolves. You're weak to the elements, you don't have gear, you don't have powers. You know, there's just so much going on that's not working well. What is going on up here? Oh,
Hey,
revelers.
friend. It's good to see another merry soul enjoying this fine day.
I could really turn it around.
Ah, but you look tired. Come, share a bottle of Honningbrew mead with me.
I would love to share a drink with
nothing
you,
like
friend.
Cheers, my friend. May your adventures find you fame and fortune.
And let's go ahead and drink that, because I think that Craig could use a little drink after what he's dealt with. Thank you.
Yeah?
Yeah. And now they're just done. Just all of them are like, yep, we've partied enough for the day. It's 7 in the morning. We should get to work. Like, what? Should be picking stuff on the way. Okay, back to what I was saying before. Early game, surrounded by run enders. And I think because of that, it forces us to play real slow. There's not a whole lot we can do. We have to really like think outside the box. But as we get stronger, we get more gear. My fear is that while we won't be surrounded by run enders, there's going to be events that are just run enders. Things that are so difficult because we play on legendary mode and survival mode and we are limited to such few skills that, oh, cool. I guess I didn't discover this last time. That, we just don't get much out of it. I'm thinking of events like late game dungeons where you have traps. You know, a random trap could literally just end the game. My biggest fear is that in doing this and having other people doing this, that we find there is a certain point in the game where it just doesn't work, where it's so difficult that playing on permadeath mode essentially means hours and hours of wasted time. Because
You ever met one of them cats? Khajiit, I think they called themselves. I hear there's whole
I want
countries
to know how
full of
this
them down
man
south.
sits next to a Khajiit caravan every day and doesn't know of them. That makes no sense to me. But anyway, once we get back to Markarth, I'm going to cut the video here, do some final edits, and probably make an upload. And then hopefully, because I have all that done, we will have an opportunity to do more recording and we can see what the future of Craig shall entail. What we want to do is we want to eventually upgrade alchemy, get stimulants, that way we have that constant buff of having magicka and stamina regen, because we're going to be using a lot of magic. Movement speed increase is going to be very, very helpful. Having a flat upgrade to our magicka and stamina whenever we use potions is going to be helpful. We've already kind of gone up this. This is just going to give us constant buffs to our potions that are not actual effects of the potions. And then I want to get advanced lab. Experimenter will be useful. I think that's the next one we're going to go for. That way we don't have to waste ingredients by eating them all to find out what's going to work well together, or slamming random ingredients together in the hopes that we find a mixture. Advanced lab, once we get a house, that means that we're going to have a place where we just have boosted potions. Essentially, potions are going to become our main way of getting temporary buffs to our character. Then conjuration, I'm thinking we could do bone collector, which is, with this skill tree, is essentially that we collect bones, we take them to specific altars, and we trade them in to get a minion, a weak minion. And that as this goes on, we will get more and more of those to the point to where we have like 6 or 7 followers. And while they're all kind of weak, it will essentially mean that we have a horde of allies whenever we want. Versus we could do Ravenous Dead, Conjure Undead, which is where once we defeat one enemy, we summon them back and they're extra strong, they have extra effects, and when they're around us, they are essentially buffed and debuff the enemies. Or we could do flat damage and work on getting summon Fire Atronach or Storm Atronach and have them be just stronger than they already are. And they're already very strong compared to raising undead or skeletons. We can't do bound weapon spells because they are affected by one-handed, two-handed, etc. So that's out of the question. So I'm thinking we would go with summoning Daedric rather than undead for conjuration. And then with heavy armor, we are going to want to get as much of this as possible. Heavy armor fit, having all heavy armor is going to be great. We could get Face of Death, but that's very cosmetic. This essentially means that we don't have to wear a helmet to get this bonus. And it gives them a strong enough bonus enough to where you don't really notice the debuff, but it is a debuff regardless. This whole right half of it is all going to be about getting stronger, rallying standard. Essentially, we create a point on the map where we get more armor and our allies also get buffed. Never kneel. We don't stagger as much. We don't take as much damage. Just being able to have magic resist off of our natural armor is going to be very useful. It means we have to worry about that less with our potions. So I was wrong about heavy armor. I should have done my research before choosing this one. I was under the impression that there was a unarmed aspect to the heavy armor skill tree, but after going through and doing some research, there is not. And I'm thinking that I mix it up with light armor, and if I did, yeah. Yeah. So we actually spec'd into the wrong armor tree. Yikes. Craig did not do his research well enough. We are going to be almost entirely reliant upon heavy armor for defense. So we have defense from heavy armor, buffs from potion making, and offense from conjuration. And when I say it like that, I think Craig is in good hands. But what do you think? Is Craig a viable hero of the people? Will he become the savior of Markarth? Subscribe to stay updated. Don't forget to drop a like. And as always, stay awesome.